At that time, Bodhisattva Kashyapa addressed the Buddha saying, "In what way is it appropriate to say, 'The Buddhas, world-honored ones, have a hidden treasury'?" The Buddha then praised Kashyapa. "Excellent, excellent, good man. Just as you say, a Tathagata in fact does not have a treasure trove that is secret. Why do I say this? Just like a full moon in autumn is clear, pure, and unshaded in the sky, when the words of a Tathagata unfold, they reveal themselves as clear, pure, and unshaded. The ignorant do not understand, and speak of his treasury as secret. But the wise fully understand, so they do not label his words secret. Good man, consider the example of a man who has amassed immeasurable millions in gold and silver, yet he is so stingy at heart that he will not admit to his blessings or provide anything to help those truly in need. That kind of accumulation could be termed a secret treasure. But Tathagatas are not like that. Amassing immeasurable rare jewels of fine dharma over limitless kalpas, their minds are devoid of any stinginess in constantly providing for all living beings. Indeed, how could it be appropriate to say that Tathagatas conceal things? Good man, consider another counterexample in the case of a poor man who has taken a considerable amount of debt. Fearing he may encounter the holders of this debt, he hides himself, not wishing to be seen. Thus he is labeled a man in hiding. But Tathagatas are not like that. They do not bear the burden of the mundane dharma of living beings. They bear the burden of the supramundane dharma of living beings. And yet they hide nothing. Why? Because a Tathagata is constant in regarding each living being as if he or she were his only child, and for whom he actively preaches the unsurpassed Dharma. Good man, consider the analogy of a wealthy merchant who only has one child. His heart is filled with loving attachment to that child, feelings he would never put aside, and he would be willing to use every bit of his fortune to demonstrate that fact. A Tathagata is like this, viewing each living being as identical to his only child. Take the example of the layman with only one child. His mind is preoccupied with the youngster. His affections boundless. He brings the child to a teacher out of a desire to get him an education, but grows apprehensive when he does not see immediate results, and straightway brings the child back home. Day and night his affection drives him to work assiduously to teach the child himself. But what he teaches is the alphabet. He does not conduct lessons on grammar. Why? Because the abilities of the youth are not yet capable of that kind of study. Good man, when that layman completes his teaching of the letters in the alphabet, would the child then be able to comprehend grammar or not? Kashyapa said, "No, world-honored one." The Buddha asked, "In that situation, would the layman be keeping secrets hidden from his child or not?" Kashyapa replied, "No, world-honored one." Why? The reason he does not explain grammar to the child is that the child is too young. It is not because he is imposing some kind of secrecy on the material that he refrains from teaching it. What is the principle here? It is that what we call secrecy stems from situations where someone's thinking is dominated by jealousy or a defensive stinginess. That is not what Tathagatas are like. Indeed, how could it be appropriate to say that Tathagatas conceal anything? The Buddha then said, "Excellent, excellent, good man, as you have said. If there are thoughts of hatred, jealousy, or defensiveness in someone, in that case we may say a person is concealing something. But the Tathagata is completely devoid of anger or jealousy. How could he be labeled as one who conceals? Good man, the wealthy merchant in the story is an allusion to the Tathagata. What I have called his one child is an allusion to all living beings. The way the Tathagata looks upon all living beings is thus akin to how this man looks upon his only child, and teaching his child directly is an allusion to the Buddha teaching his Shravaka disciples. The letters of the alphabet and the phonemes they represent are an allusion to the ninefold sutras of my previous discourses. And the grammar treatises are an allusion to what I call the well-balanced Vaitulya Mahayana scriptures. It is because Shravakas lack a certain power of wisdom that the Tathagata taught them only letters, namely the ninefold scriptures, and did not endeavor to expound to them the well-balanced Mahayana canon represented in the story by the grammar treatises. Good man! If, after the merchant's son had grown big, the grammar treatises were still not explained to him, despite his having studied diligently, then indeed one could call that a case of concealing something. If, for example, Shravaka similarly garnered such diligence that they would be able to accept grammar treatises that represent the Mahayana here, but out of some secretive selfishness the Tathagata would not expound it to them, one could certainly say that the Tathagata had hidden secrets. But Tathagatas are not like that, and that is why I say they hold no hidden secrets. Like the wealthy merchant who, having taught his young child the letters of the alphabet, subsequently explained the grammar treatises, I am now in that situation. Having expounded on the alphabet, that is, the ninefold scriptures, for my disciples, I am now subsequently explaining the grammar treatises. What I am referring to is the constant presence, without change, of the Tathagatas.